Hello friends, Mandar here. I am back with another video. Today I am going to talk about step-by-step process for employment-based green card applications in the United States. I will walk you through two scenarios. One where employee sponsors your green card application, and then the second one where you yourself can sponsor your own application. Basically, you can petition your own application without the help of employer. Please watch this video until the end, as I will be talking about some tips how you can upgrade your petition from your current category of green card application to a higher category, potentially to reduce your processing time. So stick with me until the end, and all of this is coming right up. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, I would like to mention that I am not an immigration attorney. Most of this information is available on public domains such as uscis.gov. For your specific immigration needs, I highly recommend you consult an immigration attorney to talk about your specific case. That said, let's talk about the topic of today. So employment-based green card has several different categories, and they are called preference methods. So for example, EB1 is the first preference category for employment-based green card. There are also other categories such as EB2, EB3, EB4 and EB5. I have made a special video on different kind of employment-based immigration, and you can watch that video here. So now let's first differentiate between employee-sponsored and self-filing petition. You can file your own petition in these three different categories below. The first one is EB1-A. EB1-A is for people with extraordinary capabilities, such as you are the best in your field, you have got awards and recognitions, you have got Nobel Prize, you have got Olympic medal, those kind of things. You can self-petition yourself in EB1. The second one is EB2-NIW, National Interest Waiver. This is also a self-petition category where you can demonstrate that you have exceptional capabilities and they are in the interest of the nation, which will contribute towards the national interest of United States. So if you can prove that with your documentation, then you can self-petition yourself in this category of national interest waiver. And then the third category where you can self-sponsor yourself is EB5, investor visa, but you need support of the EB5 supporting project that you will be investing your money into. Now let's look at the categories where you need an employer sponsorship for the green card application. EB1-B, outstanding professors and researchers. In this category, you will need your employer to sponsor your EB1-B application. EB1-C, which is for multinational managers and executives. This is also the category where you will need your employer to sponsor your green card petition. In the second preference category, EB2, all of EB2 except the NIW, National Interest Waiver, will require you to have employer sponsorship for your green card application. Almost all of the subsections of EB3 will need employer sponsorship for filing your green card application. In this video, I will exclude the process for EB5 because I think it deserves its own video. So I will make another video for it specifically for EB5. But let's focus on EB1, EB2 and EB3 categories first. In the categories like EB1-A and EB2-NIW, where you can sponsor yourself or petition on your own behalf, let's look at the steps what are required. First of all, you need to identify on what basis are you applying for green card application. Say for instance, if you have exceptional capabilities and achievements, or if you are able to demonstrate extraordinary ability in science, arts, education through national or international levels, then you can consider applying for EB1-A. Or if you plan to provide services in the field of national interest waiver, then you might be able to apply through EB2-NIW. So what are the steps for these two categories? First of all, you need to collect all the documentation that proves that you have exceptional capabilities. Once you have all the documentation collected, take it to the lawyer and ask for the list of all the documentation that you will need to file the petition. Whenever you are self-sponsoring, I would highly recommend to go through the lawyer so that you don't miss on things because you only have one shot at it. Next, the lawyer will apply for I-140 on your behalf. That is an application for immigrant visa based on your documentation. I-140 can be filed in premium processing, so you will get the result within 15 days. Once you have the immigrant petition approved, you can move to the next step, which is adjustment of status. Now this is also called I-485. If you have the visa number available for the country of birth that you are from, you can do something called concurrent filing. What does concurrent filing mean? You can apply for I-485, which is adjustment of status, but along with it, you can also file for your employment authorization card and advance payroll. Employment authorization card will allow you to work for any employer while your green card application is still pending. Advance payroll will allow you to travel outside of United States and re-enter United States. If you are making this petition from outside of United States, then instead of adjustment of status, you will have to go through consular processing. For the consular processing, you will need to make an appointment at the nearest embassy. You will need to carry all your documentation, supporting evidence, and the approval notice of your I-140 to the consulate and appear for an interview. Based on if it's approved, you will get an approval notice, and then you will also get an immigrant visa stamp on your passport that will allow you to travel to the United States and become a permanent resident. You can also opt for consular processing even if you have applied from within the United States. But I would highly recommend that you go through adjustment of status process instead of consular processing if you are already in the United States. So will you file for your adjustment of status along with EAD as well as advance payroll? Within 2 weeks you will get the receipt notice. In the next few weeks, you will need to go through a biometrics appointment where they will take your fingerprints and photograph. Then there is some wait period. This is because the local USCIS office will schedule you for an in-person interview. You want to make sure that you don't miss this interview date, because if you miss, you will have to reschedule, and that might extend your timeline to get a green card. Most of the times, many nations in the world will have visas available, as the number of applicants from their country is not too high to meet the cap limit. But for certain countries such as India and China, due to the volume of applications, the cap reaches very soon, and thus the remaining applicants go into a backlog. This creates something called retrogression, which is specified in the visa bulletin by USCIS every month. What that means is, if you are born in India or China, your visa availability dates might be retrogressed, which means that you might have to wait for several years for your I-485 application, which is adjustment of status application, to be processed. But the good thing is you can get an EAD, which is employment authorization, in the meantime, which will allow you to work in the United States until your green card application is processed. This EAD is also given to the spouse or dependents so that they can also study or work in the United States. So now if you have an employer sponsored green card application, then you have an extra step at the beginning. This extra step is called labor certification or PERM application. What this means is your employer has to prove that there are no qualified Americans or native citizens that are available to do the job, and thus they have to make a case for you to hire. They have to write a job description. They have to put out advertisements in several different local newspapers and websites. They have to collect resumes. They have to go through the interview process and prove that there were no local citizen candidates available to do this job. Once they have this documentation ready, then they can apply for labor certification, which is something done with Department of Labor. This is also called a PERM process. This is the first step in the employer-sponsored green card. Once this step is done and once your PERM application is approved, the remaining steps are pretty much the same as self-petitioning green card application, which is I-140 and I-485 adjustment of status. I promised to tell you about how you can upgrade your petition from your current category to a higher category. So what happens typically is, say for instance you applied in category EB3. Since green card processing takes several years, during the time you might have a progression in your career to go to the next level at your employer, which means you may become a manager or an executive during the period of time while your application is still pending. If that is the case, you have an option to upgrade your petition from EB3 to EB2 or even from EB2 to EB1. This helps you because the processing times for these different categories are different. Typically EB1 is much more faster than EB2 and EB2 is faster than EB3. So in this scenario, you can upgrade your petition from your current category to a higher category to speed up your application. I highly recommend to work with a qualified lawyer to do this. You may benefit from this upgrading of application. So that's all I had in this video for you. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in the next one.